Barbieland is not the film's recommendation. It's not a blueprint for gender utopia. It isn't reality, it can never be, and it was never supposed to be. Even in universe, it was explicitly created for a purpose. That purpose being the inspiration of girls, to show them what they could do and be personally.
Well, I'm wondering if you saw the same movie as me. I'm just, it's like so far.
Well, no, he's simultaneously just said, oh, the movie's not supposed to be a blueprint for how you want the world to be, but then he immediately follows it by saying, but it shows a positive representation of what it could be for little girls. It's aspirational. You can't have both those things. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
See, symbolically speaking, the way Barbieland works is twofold. The subordination of the Kens shows the drawbacks of our currently existing gender imbalances, while the Barbie's successes show the heights women could achieve were these imbalances not a fact.
Okay, wait. This interpretation is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
It's full patriarchy believer. Like, he buys into the patriarchy shit.
Okay, so first of all, to compare, this was like one of the biggest flaws with the movie. The real world is not the inverse of the Barbie world, and only literally the dumbest mouth-breathing parasites could actually believe that at all. It doesn't even make sense, and literally the movie itself doesn't even really believe that.
No, yeah.
Even though everyone's portrayed as hyper-sexist, even the movie itself doesn't believe that at all. You have the guy say, well, actually, it's kind of the opposite now, where being a woman helps you get a job more, and they show a female doctor who's specifically telling Ken that he can't get a job there.
Right.
Like, so number one, no, you can say it's supposed to be like a insanely hyperbolic for comedy version of it, maybe, or an old-timey version. It's kind of interesting. My dad actually saw this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that the movie didn't make sense to him unless it took place in 1960.
Yeah,
that
that's
like
what
when
I was
like
thinking.
Barbie and Ken, when they went to the real world, it should have been like 1960, and then maybe the movie would have made sense.
Mad Men.
Right, if it was like the Mad Men universe or something. But in 2023, it makes absolutely no sense. So number one, that is an insane take, for him to say that. Number one, and then number two, for him to say, well, Barbie Land is simultaneously, this argument's insane. Simultaneously, it's supposed to be like the evil inverse of sexism on one hand, but also a positive representation of what women could achieve if they didn't live in a sexist world. So the society is both, you're not supposed to take it seriously because it's evil sexism, but it's also a positive representation of what women could achieve if not held back by men.
That's the real world? That's the Barbie world, right?
That's the Barbie world, he's saying.
Look,
he's saying the Barbie world simultaneously, you're not supposed to take it seriously, but you are supposed to take it seriously.
Look, you can't look at that sleepover scene and think, this is the pinnacle of female existence.
According to garbage, you are.
That's so fucking ridiculous.
Like, this is, okay. Talk about, it's so funny because they all like to say, media literacy. In Barbie, all the people that have jobs, like, they're all idiots. The Barbies are all idiots. All their jobs are fake jobs.
They are fake jobs.
Because it's supposed to be like a kid playing with a doll doing an imaginary job.
Yeah,
it's not real.
Imaginary version of the world.
Right. So there's literally a part where when they go see Barbie's in the president's office, for no reason.
Right. I'm presidenting.
Right. And the president's just like, everything's so wonderful, I don't even have to do anything. Let's all talk amongst ourselves and congratulate ourselves.
Right.
And then all the Barbies turn to other Barbies and talk and congratulate themselves, except Margot Robbie's sitting next to no one. Mm-hmm. So she turns to empty air and starts conversing with no one about how awesome of a job their women are doing running society. Okay. So you can't tell me that this is supposed to be like, oh, this is a positive representation of what women would achieve under the matriarchy. When all the Barbies were still shown to be idiots, even when they had full power over everything.
But it's so funny.
It's just like, what? This take is insane. This guy's an idiot.
Yeah, bad stuff.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yes, there is an inequality here, but it's one being used to make a point about equality. And crucially, something the drinker seems to miss later on as well, Barbie Land is not the film's recommendation. It's not a blueprint for gender utopia. It isn't reality, it can never be, and it was never supposed to be. Even in universe, it was explicitly created for a purpose. That purpose being the inspiration of girls, to show them what they could do and be personally.
Okay, wait. This point makes. Am I losing my mind, Adam? Explain this to me. You seem so tapped out. I don't know what's happening.
Me?
You're not paying attention.
No, I'm great.
Yeah. Okay.
I did doze off.
Are you tired? Do you need to eat a snack or something?
I just ate a snack, but thank you.
I need
for
help
asking.
here because what he's saying doesn't make. It's making my brain melt. Okay?
Well, I'm wondering if you saw the same movie as me. I'm just. It's like so far.
Well, no. He's simultaneously saying. He simultaneously just said, "Oh, the movie's not supposed to be a blueprint for how you want the world to be." But then he immediately follows it by saying, "But it shows a positive representation of what it could be for little girls. It's aspirational." You can't have both those things. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, unless
you can't
the
say
little
that
girls want to oppress men.
Yeah, but, okay, exactly. You can't say, "How dare Critical Drinker criticize this movie by saying that this is supposed to be a positive representation of the real world or what the real world should be." By the way, Barbie Land was an aspirational vision of what the real world should or could be for little girls.
Right.
That's a completely contradictory statement. This is so dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Explain it to me. Am I missing something? This can't be this stupid. There has to be something. This is like retarded.
It is retarded. Look, I've come to expect this. The whole goal of this video was just to dunk on Critical Drinker, to accuse Critical Drinker of lying. So it really, look, it doesn't have to make consistent sense. He just has to give everybody a reason to think Critical Drinker is a liar.
Mm-hmm. I guess
that's the ultimate goal.
But he can't even be consistent with his own argument.
Look, consistency is not. People don't care about consistency.
Yes, he's literally doing.
You care about consistency.
I know.
Most people don't.
Darwin in the chat says, quote, "This is the dystopia isn't real, but it would be cool if it was real." Like this is literally peak leftist. It's not happening, but it would be cool if it was happening. Like I want you to just listen to this.
Well, this is why Drinker is so angry in his video, because he's like, this is an aspirational dystopia that little girls are going to want to act out. Which is not going to be good for little girls, and it's not going to be good for anyone.
Right, but this guy is saying that simultaneously that it is not and it is.
Right.
Later on as well, Barbie Land is not the film's recommendation.
Okay.
It's not.
Barbie Land is not the film's recommendation. He says it specifically. Okay.
Well, look, it can't be aspirational. You can't have something that's aspirational and not the recommendation. Like, what's the point?
Right.
A blueprint for gender utopia. It isn't reality, it can never be, and it was never supposed to be. Even in universe, it was explicitly
aspirational is exactly the blueprint.
Right.
Created for a purpose. That purpose being the inspiration of girls, to show them what they could do and be personally. That is
Yeah, you're right. It's completely contradictory. Like it can't be simultaneously aspirational and something, that you're just supposed to forget about. It's not a blueprint. Aspirations literally are blueprints.
Yes. He says this is not the blueprint for reality, but it's aspirational for little girls.
Yeah, no.
What the fuck? Oh my god. I guess this is what you have to do.
That's a major contradiction there.
Of course. I guess this is what you're forced to do. If you are working backwards, where you're like, I have to make a video where I criticize Critical Drinker and everything he says, and you force yourself into this weird pretzel logic, like your argument's not going to make sense, essentially.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like they're just typing out a script and they're like, that sounds smart. I'll just go with that. Although I don't know how you could miss that.
Oh my god.
The idea here.
As you're writing the script, you would kind of think, well, aspirational means like a goal that you're striving for.
It's so ridiculous.
But while that concept is a little messy, given the
Look, he says the concept is messy, Sitch. He knows what's going on.
Being the inspiration of girls to show them what they could do and be personally. That is the idea here. But while that concept is a little messy.
Okay, wait, maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe I was a too quick pause, Andy. He's going to bring it all home. He's going to explain how, even though what he said is inherently contradictory, it's going to make sense.
Look,
okay?
it's nuanced, okay?
Do you have faith that garbage is going to bring it home and make it all make sense?
Contradictory is so harsh, okay?
Well, how else would you say it?
It's nuanced.
Okay.
Come on.
This is a very nuanced take. Yes, all right. That's what nuance means. It's when you say one thing and then you say the opposite thing. Nuance.
Right.
Sure. Okay.
Given the Kens, Barbies, and Allens alike are seemingly endowed with some degree of sapience, or at least the potential for it, Barbieland's limited opportunities for Kens is a bit troubling. The film kinda hangs a
Wait.
Now he's agreeing with Drinker.
Okay, so he said it's a bit messy. Then he didn't explain the contradiction. He just lampshaded it. He said, yeah, I understand that what I said maybe does messy, but whatever. Fuck you. Just accept it.
He should have just been bold and come out and said, look, I know what I said was contradictory, but let's just move on.
Spit and spin, motherfucker. Oh my God. And now you're right. Now he's just like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of bad because, maybe critical drinker's right. Maybe it is kind of bad because these people seem like they have conscious free will and this is not great for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's a critical drinker video.
Right.
Lantern on this with the closing voiceover, but lampshading an issue isn't the same as resolving that.
Have you seen this video before? Have you seen this video before, Sitch?
No!
I gotta ask.
He just fucking...
How did you do that?
What?
Sitch.
He lampshaded himself and he didn't realize it. And now he's like, well, just because the movie lampshades something doesn't resolve the issue. We've reached like 10 levels deep of irony. What is happening? This isn't real. This is not, wait, this is an elaborate troll. This video is an elaborate troll. This is not a real video. This is an elaborate troll, or this channel is really some sort of deep fake ChatGPT created script. Someone put critical drinker script in ChatGPT. They said, can you write for me a counter video to destroy critical drinker? And this is what it came up with.
I feel like you're trolling me. How did you get that lampshade comment before he said it?
Because he just did it in his review.
Yeah, but then he admits it.
I don't know.
And uses the same exact terminology.
No, I think he's saying that.
He's saying that the movie did it. Obviously, he's saying he's innocent of lampshading.
Right. I don't. Now I could be wrong. He could immediately address that he lampshaded it right in the next 10 seconds because I haven't seen this video. Okay, but I interpreted what he just said, that he was saying the movie was lampshading.
You were accusing him of lampshading the contradiction that he's making, which he's saying that the movie is not a blueprint but aspirational, which you would think is like a blueprint.
Yes.
But he's saying that the movie has this contradiction and they lampshade it.
Right.
So he's throwing your accusation back on the movie.
Which is hilarious.
This is fascinating.
I know. For those who don't know, lampshading is when there's some sort of contradiction or problem in a story, or plot hole in a story.
Paper over it, yeah.
Well, that the movie points out that is a plot hole or a contradiction or something, and thus that is supposed to make it acceptable.
Oh,
so it's kind of like in Looper, when like the time travel rules don't make any sense, and they kind of say yeah, nothing makes sense, but whatever, we don't want to be here all day, right?
The best example of it is the scene in my favorite movie, Tenet, when she's explaining to him how the reverse time matter works. And he's like, yeah, you just, sometimes it's best if you don't think about this shit too much.
Right. Or when in the comedy movie Austin Powers, when they break the fourth wall in the second one, and they try to explain the time travel, and he literally turns to the audience and he's like, just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, exactly.
So of course that's fine because it's like a comedy movie, so it's fine for them to do those like fourth wall jokes. But
I don't think I've ever heard this term lampshading before.
Yeah,
I've heard it twice.
I know,
like a 5-minute segment here.
Right.
It's really tripping me out.
that issue. So yes, this would, I think, be grounds for a valid critique of, if not the film's ideas, then at least the way those ideas are delivered. But you see the issue, right? To get to this knot, you have to actually think about the film, about the things that make you uneasy, about why they make you uneasy before you hit record. And honestly, I'm probably giving the guy too much credit by assuming any of that even registered with him, that he didn't just woke spot the surface level dynamic of man being dominated by women and call it a day.
So his critique here, his criticism, is that even though he completely understands and sees how Critical Drinker came to the conclusion he came to, Critical Drinker didn't lay out the entire thought process chain to get there, so therefore Critical Drinker is lying.
Or is dumb.
Or is dumb.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Even though you completely already acknowledge that you can understand his argument.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is a great debunking. All right.
Well, I mean, I didn't see any contradictions in Drinker's original video, so I don't know.
Sure.
There's one in this.
After all, a broken clock is right twice a day, and by that same logic, if you let a half-cut fool rant for a couple of years about dozens of films, statistically he is gonna bump into some real problems eventually.
So he
Yes. What the fuck?
he's saying that he was right. He's saying Critical Drinker is right.
What the fuck? How can he be lying and right?
Because it was a mistake, Adam. It was by accident. He was accidentally right.
Look.
He can read Critical Drinker's mind now. He's like, listen, even though Critical Drinker maybe said something that was right, I read his mind and I deduced that he was still wrong.
It's so stupid. It's like Critical Drinker was lying, but that lie turned out to be correct.
Man, this video is so wild. Oh, I can't believe Mahler didn't. He should have stuck around for this video. This is like, oh my god.
That doesn't mean he'll actually critique them, it doesn't even mean he's able to. Just that, yeah, he'll end up mouthing off in their general vicinity before going on to shout at more clouds. Moving on, this criticism is also a bit odd.
Like, one guy literally walks up to Barbie and slaps her in the ass, in the middle of a crowded boardwalk, in broad daylight, in front of her boyfriends.
Go with me here. The real world in this film isn't all that real. Anyone who's seen the film will recall that things are often a little exaggerated. Or do Mattel executives regularly engage in high-octane car chases? Maybe that's an America thing. Viewers from LA...
Look, he's stealing.
Oh my god, he's taking the Doomer argument. Oh
stealing
my
Doomer.
god.
He's stealing Doomer's argument here. Although I did make the argument about the car chase, but you said it wasn't as high octane as he's claiming it is.
Please do tell me
wasn't
the
like-
last time you saw Enon crash.
The car chase, it was just like cars literally chasing, like driving in like after each other. And the way that she escapes, do you remember how she escapes? She literally just cuts
Jumps
across.
a curb, yeah.
He just jumps a curve on an exit ramp. That's it. It's like the most realistic way that you would like get away from someone in a car chase.
Don't they? I mean, she does some backing down an alley thing and slipping.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she does the back.
I mean, it's a little more than just.
That's
I mean,
true,
it is
that's
a little hyper exaggerated.
Yeah, a little bit, but this is no
It's
scene
not
from
like Fast and the
Batman.
Furious 5 or anything.
No, it's not like the Batman where he's like driving through the explosion of the truck.
Oh my god, that would have been so bad.
The Penguin's car gets like knocked over.
Why
upside
couldn't they
down.
do a homage to that? That would have been
There you
pretty.
go.
Look. Yeah. You could see a kid playing with a Barbie in the car, and when the car catches on fire and the Barbie goes up, the Barbie in the
Yes.
Barbie universe could
There you
like go up
go.
in flames. Yeah.
There you go.
It could be
I
like
that.
Barbie's best friend.
But there's a huge problem with the whole real world sequence, which is that there are only two elements of fantasy that we see in the real world, and then everything else in the real world is played completely straight.
Normal, yes. Sexism.
And there's number one, it's that there's this hyper sexism that doesn't make sense.
Right.
And then number two, it's that there is some, like the Mattel people specifically seem to be extra goofy, but they seem out of place even in the real world, because they have like, when they're all on the skates, because they're going to skate into the Barbie world, people are like, why are there a bunch of people in suits wearing skates? Like, it's like their actions are not seen
silly.
as realistic either. So you can't give this insanely stupid argument where you just say, oh, well, you shouldn't take the sexism in the real world seriously. Even though if you don't take the sexism in the real world seriously, none of the story actually makes sense. None of the themes of the movie actually make sense at all. Like the message that the movie's trying to make about sexism, America lady's speech that she gives about the difficulties of being a woman in a sexist world, none of that makes any sense if we're supposed to think that the sexism in the real world was just like a joke not to be taken seriously.
Sexism is the linchpin of the movie. You can't have this movie without it. Yeah.
Yes.
Very true.
That's hilarious. I didn't think he would make the Doomer argument.
You weren't expecting that?
No, I actually, because I watched a bunch of people on the left reviews of this or criticizing the right, and I never heard anyone else make the argument except for this guy now.
Yeah.
Right's gunning it down Pacific Avenue. Given this, it seems strange that this
Look, it looks like that guy really slaps Margot Robbie's
really winds
ass. Yeah. Do you think that really happened? Do you think they've put something?
She was wearing a pad
in front of her butt, so
they green screened it. He was slapping nothing. There was no one there.
Look how excited he is. He's like, "Yeah, I got me a piece of booty today."
Well, it's also even not only unrealistic that a guy would just walk up to a girl.
Not only that, he's like a foot shorter than. Oh, I guess Ryan Gosling is on roller skates.
He's on roller skates, right? But not only is it completely number one, it's completely unrealistic in 2023 that a guy would walk up to a girl in broad daylight who's not drugged out on meth or something, right, or homeless or something, that would go and do this, and not have immediately a million guys jump this person or something.
Of course, yeah.
Right? So it's completely unrealistic. It's even more unrealistic that he's doing it standing next to the gigantic Ryan Gosling, who's buff as hell. Number two, and number three, there's no reality where she would get arrested for then punching him in the face at all.
Right, of course not. Yeah.
And then,
wait, what if the guy was black?
Well, then maybe. Well, that would have been interesting.
Then she would have got arrested, right?
Crime. There you go.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, once she gets arrested, all the cops are super sexist towards her, in this ridiculous way that's completely unrealistic.
Of course, yeah. But that wacky sexism though, that's part of the comedy of the movie.
Right. But this is so when this wacky sexism scene happens, we're supposed to just be oh, that's not realistic. But then when Barbie's sitting on the bench and she's absorbing all of the real world and the struggles and real things that people feel, and she sees the old woman who's aged and it making her yearn for maybe something more, that's all supposed to be not realistic too. Because it's the real world. The real world is supposed to be wacky.
I fucking hate that scene.
I mean, I do too. Because it's lazy.
The bench scene, yeah.
It's an incredibly lazy scene, but
it's the one scene that people will turn to create all the headcanon.
Yes.
About how, this is why she wanted to go to the real world in the end. Did you see her sit on the bench and look around? It's fuck you.
Well, why would the reason the scene is lazy, where she's sitting on the bench, is because, if you haven't seen the movie, Barbie's sitting, after Barbie's been arrested twice and been sexismed thrice, okay, in the movie, or actually 4 times in the movie.
I'm surprised they didn't do the cavity search at the prison.
There you go. She's sitting on the park bench. Ken goes off to learn about the patriarchy or whatever.
Right.
And she's just looking around, and she sees little kids playing. She sees a guy who seems upset about something on his phone, or he's writing a letter or something. She just sees a bunch of different people living in the world, all experiencing various emotions. She sees a couple together that are happy. She sees a mother playing with her daughter, and then she sees this old lady, and it's weird because she's obviously never seen anyone that's aged. And the thing is, the reason the scene is lazy is because Barbie looks at all these different people in the real world doing real world things that she would never experience in Barbie land. And she immediately has some kind of strong emotional reaction where you see this is something that is powerful and meaningful to her. But why?
Yeah, why?
From a character perspective, why would anything that she's looking at have any emotional impact on her? She should just look at it and be this is completely alien to me. I don't understand what are these people are doing.
Well, curiosity could have been the reason, but it's not explicit.
Well, but if she was looking at curiously, oh, this is very interesting, that's completely different. I completely understand that. If she was fascinated with the old lady,
Right.
and maybe even if she thought the old lady was beautiful just because it's like she's so different. She's never seen
She
anything
should
like
have
it.
said something like, "Are you human?"
Right.
you
Yeah,
human?
exactly. Or what? No, what are you?
Yeah.
What are you? Right. Like all that would have been fine, but she's like deeply emotionally impacted by all this. And that there's no reason for her, from her character perspective, that any of this stuff should have any emotional effect on her whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. That's why I hate that scene. Because it's the one scene that everyone will see the way they want to see it. And it's like, I like my movies to be more explicit than that because I like to know that the writers are competent.
Well, I mean, it doesn't bother me because it's not. I mean, to me, I thought the scene was pretty explicit, completely. So I don't agree with that.
Oh, okay.
I just think it's lazy because
No, it's
there's
got to
no
be
reason.
intercut with scenes from the Barbie world and her like realizing that the Barbie world is different.
I don't think
And
you
the Barbie
need that.
world has to, someone in the Barbie world has to say something explicitly like, but it's perfect here. And she remembers.
Well, no, okay.
And
Here's
then
how
the
you.
woman sitting next to her says, "This place sucks."
Here's how to fix it. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You have the scene. She's on the bench. She sees all the people doing all the stuff.
Right.
She doesn't have an emotional reaction. She just has like a very curious expression.
Right.
It's like interesting.
Like when
she
that
doesn't know-
alien lady discovered she didn't have a vagina.
Right. It's just kind of like an interesting thing. She's looking around like, what is this? Well, this is very interesting to me. And then at the end of the movie, before she decides not to go to the real world, at least at first. She fixes Barbie world.
Uh-huh.
And everything goes back to normal. And her life goes back to the routine that we established in the beginning of the movie.
And then she remembers the scene.
Right. And you see that there's a scene where she's in Barbie world and she's sitting around and she starts
It's the
looking at all
same
these
thing.
people.
She's in a park, just like in the
Yes.
real world.
She's in a
But
Barbie
it
park.
sucks.
Yes, she's in a Barbie park and she sees all the Barbies and they're all really happy. But like they're all doing like the pretend fake things.
Right.
They're not doing anything real.
Yeah.
And she sees how like all of a sudden for the first time she realizes none of them are experiencing anything real. It's all just fake.
Right. I'm in the fucking Matrix. I need to
Right.
get to the real world.
Right. And
Then she goes and she's like, "Give me that Birkenstock."
Yeah, and then that would be the motivation for her to leave the Barbie world at the end and go be real.
Right.
That's how you would do
Yeah.
those scenes.
Yes. Didn't she? I mean, they even set up the Birkenstock thing. She could go back to the messed up Barbie and say, "Listen, I need another Birkenstock. I need a Birkenstock."
Right. Well, I mean, that was just symbolic. She didn't actually wear. I don't think she actually wore the Birkenstock in the real world.
Would have been better if she had to.
If she had to, that would have
Yeah.
been kind of funny.
This moment gets targeted by the Realism police, and something like the Mattel chase doesn't. When
Sitch, you are the Realism police.
If the sexism in the real world is not supposed to be taken to mean anything, then the movie doesn't mean anything at all whatsoever. The movie's just nothing but bright lights and pretty colors. At
Look,
this point.
sexism is wacky and fun. Okay. That's the way they portray it, and that's the way it is.
Oh my god,
Jeez.
it's so
public
dumb.
sexual assault is the thing that, actually happens sometimes.
Wait. We need to play this in its entirety.
I know. Okay.
In car chases. Maybe that's an America thing. Viewers from LA, please do tell me the last time you saw Enon Kreitz gunning it down Pacific Avenue. Given this, it seems strange that this moment gets targeted by the Realism police and something like the Mattel chase doesn't, when public sexual assault is the thing that, actually happens sometimes.
So, okay, wait. This guy is so full of shit. He did the exact same thing he did with his first point. He
Yep.
said, why are you saying why are you criticizing for the realism? It's supposed to be unrealistic.
And
But
then he says it
actually, it
is
happened.
realistic.
Yes. What the fuck? But it's not realistic. But actually, it is realistic.
It's supposed to be wacky and fun. And oh, by the way, this happens all the time, bitch.
Oh my god. This guy's so stupid.
Look, this is being targeted by the Realism police.
Oh
Me.
my god.
Because it's totally real.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe this is his problem.
Look, he
is
pulls
that-
out a badge. I am the Realism police. You're being
How dare
arrested.
you be the realism police? Oh,
You're being arrested for not believing this sexism. How dare you?
this scene is simultaneously hyperbolic fantasy that's not realistic. but it is also very realistic.
Oh man, this movie could have been as good as Scott Pilgrim, but they just
Oh
they didn't
my
know what they were doing.
This guy is insane. How does his audience listen to this and like not just like what?
I don't
Like a double take.
look. I don't. His views are kind of all over the place. I don't know that he has like a regular audience or anything.
Maybe.
A lot of content creators just they milk the algorithm. They make something that they know people are watching, but it's the audience ebbs and flows. It's not the
Right.
same audience for every single video.
Well, I'm curious because this video's been out for 4 days. It only has 46,000 views. I don't know how long it took for his critical drinker video to kind of blow up.
Right.
So I'm curious, is the fact that this video hasn't blown up the way the Glass Onion critical drinker video did, is it just like a chance? Is it just like a fluke? Or is it because the arguments he's making in this video are so bad that even people that watch the video are like, what is happening here? And they click off the video because it's just these arguments are ridiculous.
Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.